snackablementalhealth.ca here on a Saturday afternoon, a beautiful Saturday autumn day with Karen. We're about to do our second Karen Throwdown. And what are we going to talk about? Throwdown with Karen. What I wanted to bring up, you brought up, Karen, a couple of weeks ago outside while we were enjoying ourselves with a nicotine fix.
Not Karen.
You don't smoke anymore, but I do.
Yes.
And that's terrible. You asked me if I was a God guy. Do you remember that? And I thought, yes, I am. I'm definitely a God guy, but I'm not a holy roller.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because you're always like, listen to me, do what I say. No.
I am God.
I am God.
Yeah. I actually had this week, this past Thursday, went to my psychologist for a session of entity release therapy. And God was involved in the trance hypnosis part of it. I was under hypnosis, and I was in a trance for about 35 minutes.
Wow.
But I knew what was going on around me. I wasn't like I didn't turn into a chicken or anything like that. Damn. But he was saying things to just get this. He believed that it might help to just kind of get rid of these negative emotions and negative feelings and this feedback that with my disorder, I there's a lot of negativity involved with my thinking, hot thoughts, automatic behavioral weird thinking going on, and he thought that this could help, and I think it did.
Really?
It's still like taking on me, and I'm still using the lessons I learned about being in this kind of realm that he put me in for about 35 minutes. And for some reason, God was in this visualization, and God was in the white robe,
really,
with the big white beard and long white hair.
That's
and he
Santa.
Had a staff.
No,
that's Santa. That's Gandalf.
That's Gandalf.
No, it was.
That's
God.
interesting.
Yeah, he was among my relatives and people that I may or may not have wronged, and for some reason, these really negative spirits came in, but they didn't come into the room that I was in my trance, and they had garbage bags on them. And he said, we're going to get rid of these people, whatever they are, with garbage bags. This trance was absolutely incredible. Yeah, you might think this as being like hokey. Or,
not at all.
Or like,
not at all.
It's kind of a new age treatment or therapy. And that's what I went through on, I guess it was Thursday evening with my psychologist.
On my way back from Elliott Lake, my best friend made me listen to this psychotherapist who
in the car on the way back, like
car,
a podcast from a psychotherapist.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm one of those people like, I don't want to listen to this, but it was so interesting.
Yeah, sometimes you feel forced into listening to that stuff.
With my best friend, yeah. And this woman was having a hard time with anxiety and like just not being a normal woman, and she couldn't understand why this was happening to her, why she was attracted to, men that weren't good for her, blah, blah, blah. She went through what you just said.
Entity release therapy. If you Google it, it's normally called spirit release therapy. So how did that sort out for her?
It was incredible. She had more than, I think it was like 50 past lives that she went to visit.
Okay.
Until he figured out what triggered the anxiety. She had a fear of water. Honestly, it was mind tripping. I was so into it.
Very cool.
I don't think I want to do that. But
it is a little bit intimidating, and there's a little bit of fear there. Where are you going to take yourself?
She was a 9-year-old boy one time.
Wow.
Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was this girl suffering from cholera. It was, and hearing her, telling him where she was in that moment under her
while
hypnosis.
she was under.
Yes. It was crazy. So I'm glad you had that experience.
Well, and I've been seeing this psychologist for about a year now.
Right.
And he's right up my alley. Like he's not like he said what I suffer from is super creative disorder.
Ooh, I
And
could
it's
see
not,
that.
It's not an actual diagnosable DSM-5 disorder, but he kind of invented it for me.
Wow.
And he just said that you have so much going on in your head creatively that you're frustrated a lot of the time because you're so far out of the box that
Right.
people that are in the box or just outside of the box have trouble getting you. So he said, and I was like, how can I turn that into a superpower? And he's like, or how can I make it serve me? Mm-hmm. He's like, slow down a little bit and just try and, basically, I guess, smell the roses instead of, inventing new roses to smell.
Right.
So, yeah.
I have hyperactive thought.
Oh, yeah, I feel that, too.
And
I hear you.
You said box, I thought cereal. Like right away. It's
Yes.
like,
Or,
yeah, it's like I'm constantly, okay, I need Raisin Bran cereal. I have to go to the store after.
okay.
You're lucky
write that
that
down.
you're creative. Mine is nothing.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Your type of thinking is the reason I wanted you to be my co-host. So
I didn't pay you to say that, Brandon.
no, I didn't even buy you a coffee. You're drinking tea.
That's okay. There's no Timbits today either.
I
but
didn't get
hey.
Timbits because I know I would be enabling you because you have the diabetes.
And I didn't I didn't bring my own pop
No.
for my beatus.
No. So and for me too, like eating 20 Timbits or even like 20 Timbits in 2 days is still a little bit bad for the A1C.
Yeah.
So I'm off the Timbits. I had a
Good for
turkey
you.
bacon club sandwich from the Tim Hortons. Bacon was a little too crunchy for me this morning.
Oh, was it on white or whole
Just
wheat?
the artisan bread, white
Okay.
bread, yeah.
That's not
So.
good for the A1C, but
Probably, well, it's better than Timbits.
True.
Yeah.
But do you have more fun eating Timbits?
I do.
Me too.
It
Only
is
the
fun.
jelly filled.
But I thought, considering I had a chat with my one of my oldest friends. My oldest friend, actually, we met when we were 3 years old.
Oh, my.
And we're still friends.
Wow.
And we have the most to share. We've had a lot of breaks in the relationship. Like
Yeah.
there's been gaps,
Yep.
but then when that gap is filled, we catch right up. But he has the diabetes, and he said, like if he goes off his metformin, he's tested it before. The A1C shoots up, and he'll die. So I was like, okay, I have it, but it's been monitored without medication. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try and not to eat sugar.
Good job.
Or drink sugar or anything like that. So I want to keep this diabetes at a tolerable level.
Good. I'm
So, yeah,
afraid
God,
to check.
We didn't get to God. Like
yeah.
as a native, tangent, randomness. As a native, where do your loyalties lie to, like the divine?
I think what it is we all feel comfort in looking to a greater power. Okay? Like some of us don't. I happen to think I have a creator, which would be like a version of God, not God.
The creator or a creator.
The creator.
The creator.
The creator who created all of us and gifted us with, Mother
lives.
Earth. And, so that's who I look to when I lose someone or when I just feel like I need to talk. So I smudge, I burn my medicines, which is sage, sweetgrass, cedar, tobacco. And I talk. I talk to...
Do you talk out loud?
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
Yeah, I do that on buses too, but no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, you like to keep people on their toes.
I know.
But
even like with me, who understands this all to a great extent,
right.
I'm still a little bit thrown off when people do talk to themselves.
I get scared.
In public. I do get a little bit scared.
I think they're going to turn violent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I cross the street.
99% of the time they're harmless. You know what I mean?
I was coming back
but
from
that 1%.
the lighting ceremony last night. This goes back to the God question. We had my best friend had her grandson who was quite sick, like coughing, not, anything other than that. He was coughing a lot. And this gentleman stopped by our cars And he said, "Is that boy okay?" And I'm like, "Ah." And my friend's like, "Yes, he's fine, thank you." And he looks at me and he goes, "God loves you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. We have a stage 5 here,
we
right?"
go. Yeah, DEFCON
And I
4.
said, "God loves you too." And
Aw.
he goes, "I already know that."
Oh, no.
So I'm like, okay, we're dealing with somebody who's having an episode or whatever he's going through at that moment. He did get down on the ground
Aw.
and laid there for a little bit, and the girlfriend left. But he got back up and said, yeah, God's loving you, and I don't know why you're not listening." And I was like, well, go be with God in your head right now and talk to him. And I'm not that person.
No.
I don't tell anybody to go and do that.
Well, I mean, you had to kind of
I had to tone him down.
disengage.
Yeah. Disengage is the word. It was different.
It is troubling sometimes, but I like tackling those situations. Like I'm just, they like you get kind of the energy, the adrenaline rush, and you're like, okay, because I know from the other side of it, Karen, that I think I've probably been in that guy's shoes,
Right.
Just been off, and
Yeah.
been in public and been not myself,
Right.
and then in retrospect, I'm like, maybe I should just enjoy it without having to say something to somebody. The creator.
Yes. So mine, I call the creator.
Wicked. I'm more into, my relationship with the creator, the higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, her, him, they, is very personal. And I don't mind talking about it with people that are pious or religious.
Right.
And I just tell them that. Usually I say I'm a Christ-loving Buddhist.
Nice.
And that's like, they go, "Oh, okay. Well, so you worship Buddha?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know about worship. I don't know." I recently came up with an idea about Buddhism. You know that song called "Everything Zen" by Bush?
No.
Everything Zen, everything Zen. I don't
No.
think so. Well, when he says "I don't think so" in the song, I'm like, that is totally Zen. Everything Zen. I don't think so. I came to that summary.
That's awesome.
A couple weeks ago. I'm like, I don't think so. All right, that's exactly.
That's
it.
awesome that you would think that. I'm going to turn to you and tell you that I do say the word right a lot.
I like right,
Oh, okay.
especially when it's because it's something I don't use.
Okay.
That I want to adopt the right.
Okay.
That when you say right, it's like I feel it, and so do you, and I don't mind it.
I feel like I try to fill in
right
quietness with
right
right.
question mark and
Right.
All right, we're gonna stop here. Snackablementalhealth.ca. We're here later on today with Chris Devlin, the front man to Madman's Window. Very keen musical artist, and the way he copes with life is pretty cool. Chris Devlin on Snackable Mental Health. I believe we're into episode 7.
Seven.
Cool.